The paper for this is in the supplemental agenda, which if you don't have one is over there. Okay. Presentations of introductions, and then I'm not sure who is presenting, but whoever is presenting is welcome to present, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I'm Gillian Bramford. I'm the Assistant Director for the Partnership Commissioning Team, working across the CCG and the Council, and I'll sort of start off the presentation.
Perfect.
I'm Janet Laws, I'm the Director for Commissioning for Southwark Council.
I'm Caroline Martin, I'm the Director for Integrated Commissioning for Southwark CCG.
Jay Stickland, I'm the Director of Adult Social Care here in Southwark.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll sort of take the paper as read, but I'll provide a little bit of contextual information, which hopefully will be helpful. What we've tried to do in the paper is provide information about BCF, Better Care Fund and the Improved Better Care Fund, how it's governed and monitored, and how it links to effective discharge and the impact on our delayed transfers of care, and the impact on plans for winter, which obviously relates to some of the things that we've been talking about earlier. I think it's probably just worth giving a little bit of historic context about the Better Care Fund. It's been running since 2014 to drive transformation of health and social care. And the budget has been round about £20 million in the Better Care Fund, but I think it should be noted that this has never been new money. This was a badging of existing NHS transfers and grants with some additional monies to implement the Care Act. The programme has remained largely unchanged since the first plans were submitted in 2015 and generally covers services which enable people to live independently at home, ensure safe and timely discharge from hospital, ensure services are in place for information, advice and guiding people through the system, and some specific services for people with mental health and learning disability to support them to live in the community. I think again, probably just worth saying there's been a significant change this year in response to call for additional monies for social care. There has been an additional Improved Better Care Fund grant, which this year is 9.1 million. And next year a further 3.4 million will be added to that. And this is very much, there's conditions around that, as there always is, and this is very much to protect social care, stabilise the home care and nursing care market, and support sort of transformation and integration around health and care systems. Again, just worth saying that the mandated oversight for the Better Care Fund and programme is with the Health and Wellbeing Board, and as we mentioned earlier, the plans were agreed on the 11th of September, and the plans for Southwark were assured without conditions from National Health Service England on the 30th of October, and we are one of only 3 in the country who've actually been approved year on year without conditions, so well done us. It is quite a feat. I think a further significant change is there's a real focus on delayed transfers of care, and again we've got national targets across the system against which we're performing well. The targets are for NHS and social care delays, and currently in September, I think, which was the last reported information that we had, we're performing 254 days against an average expected average target of 450. And I think why that's worth sort of just mentioning is that obviously we are going into winter, so potentially that we do get spikes around delayed transfers of care, but I think again in the report what we've tried to do is just address some of the winter plans, and that's not necessarily linked to the Better Care Fund because that is very much NHS monies that flow through the system, but I think it's quite important just to recognise it as an overall approach to hospital discharge and timely discharge through the system. And I think that's probably all I just wanted to say. Just thought it would be helpful to give some context.
I had a question to start, and then I'm going to go to the rest of the committee, which was, so I was at the Health and Wellbeing Board when this was signed off, and I know that there'd been some last-minute changes to the numbers, and in terms of the numbers of the different percentages we had to achieve, and I guess having some clarity around that and whether we think that's achievable would be helpful, because I don't know, because I know it was very last minute, so I don't know actually how much we were able to interrogate the numbers before we passed the paper.
I think it's probably just worth saying something around the fact that we signed the Better Care Fund plan off on the 11th of September, and we actually had to submit it to NHSE by 5 o'clock on that day. And the reason that everything was so short in terms of timescales is that we'd been waiting for guidance from NHSE since November of the previous year. And I think just reflecting that, there was a last minute change the sort of week before in how we were reporting the delayed transfers of care targets, which is how we had to bring a change to the Health and Wellbeing Board. I think because we do have quite a gap between the target and how we are performing at the moment, I think we felt that was well within the capabilities of the system to achieve. So we were able to interrogate that, and obviously we do keep a very close eye on delayed transfers of care and get regular reports on that as we go through.
Okay, and go to the rest of the meeting and I'll come back to Helen.
In relation to the limited availability of nursing beds in some of the intermediate care, can you just update on what discussions there are currently, maybe with colleagues in housing, about the provision of that kind of care and accommodation, if you like, as a kind of step down after discharge?
So in terms of nursing home provision, it's very much about working with the independent sector. They are the main providers of these kinds of services. So there is a paper coming to Cabinet on the 12th of December to set out the Council's strategy to increase the number of nursing homes in the borough. And we do allude to that in the IBCF plan that you've seen. So we have transferred the lease of a home from Four Seasons to a family-run business who have experience of building and redeveloping homes, and we think that's really important given that many of the homes that we have in the borough are very much the 20th century, and we need some 21st century homes in the borough. We also have a home in Danesford Road which is mothballed. We're speaking to the leaseholder of that particular home about reopening the home, potentially in terms of taking opportunity, given it's empty, to knock down the home and redevelop it. So again, we can increase the capacity, because quite openly the economies of scale are really important when you're running these kinds of homes, but you have to design them so that in having those economies of scale you still have intimacy in terms of wings to create still a safe and personalised service. So we do have plans to increase the number of homes. Don't know how far I can go with that until the paper's published, but it's not far to go. And I do think it's really exciting for Southwark, which seems to have turned a point where I know prior to my arrival, over a number of years, homes have closed down. I think from my understanding of the nature of those homes, it was the right thing to do that they closed down. They were not fit for purpose, but we have the opportunity to shape the market going forward, and I would anticipate that we will significantly increase the number of nursing beds, good high quality nursing beds, by 2020.
Anybody else? Questions? Anything? I guess one of the questions I had was around what we do in the types of care that we try and move people to, and how we're looking to get to stop people coming out of hospital and then immediately having to go back in, and what provisions we've got to try and help people be discharged into a suitable place that they should be cared for, which means they don't just end up back in the system. Yeah, that's the term. Yeah.
So I know Jane will probably talk well about the discharge into the places that we have at the moment, and I don't think I answered part of your question around intermediate care.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite important. That is a gap for us in the market. We don't have that here in Southwark, and other boroughs that I've worked in either have that in terms of bed-based intermediate care. Yeah. So if I hand over to Jane or Carol.
So I do think we sometimes we have to be quite careful about our definitions across the two organisations, because they are slightly different. So I would want to sort of be clear that there is intermediate care, but it's at the higher end of intermediate care, and what we recognise is that there is absolute room for step down in intermediate care, and we've done some work, and we think that is something that absolutely needs to be progressed, and I think that's a shared kind of view. But we've also got significant levels of investment through the BCM into hospital at home programmes and to support reopenment. And in fact, I'm sure you're all aware of the work that Jay has been leading with Guys and St Thomas's in terms of integrating services to kind of really give a comprehensive offer across health and social care in relation taking people out of hospital and keeping them at home. But obviously you can talk to that, Jay, but I just think we need to always be careful about making sure that we've got the right definitions, that we don't over-provide the wrong sorts of care. We're actually always trying to right-size to get the right things to help people to be at home or as care as close to home as possible, and not doing the revolving door.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of intermediate care, we do have, as well as the high end, we do have some extra care flats that have proven incredibly successful. I think the dialogue that the CCG and ourselves are having at the moment is at that lower end, so it's more of a therapy-based unit where you will have occupational therapists and other people like that who are actually working with people. And I think that I believe there is personally a great value to that, because I think the pace in which the health service now runs sometimes doesn't always allow individuals to reach their maximum level of independence. Saying that, what we have focused on over the last 18 months, 2 years, is working with Guy's and St Thomas's. We are at the point now where we have agreement of the complete integration of both our social care teams and their health teams, and we'll be moving to from 13 different teams down to 2. One providing rapid response within the community or getting people out of hospital, and the other one providing short-term rehab, which usually is up to about 6 weeks, but we say up to 6 weeks because some people require much less, and we would aim for much less. That'll be going completely live on April the 1st, which I know always feels a bit late, but actually they are currently working. It's not the point that it's not working now, it's just that we're on a process. It is a huge number of staff to actually reorganise, relocate, and actually bring under single management structure. I mean, it's a real, it's one of the successes. We can say actually with health and social care in Southwark that we actually will have a single point, and actually not only that, we'll have a single service manager that will be jointly funded between Guy's and St Thomas's and ourselves, and that has been supported by both the commissioners within the CCG and also ourselves, so that's a real positive. And
good, wonderful. Unless anyone else has any other questions. I think we just wanted a bit of an update, so that's great. Thank you very much. I'm going to propose we have a 5-minute break, and then we can come to our public health priorities.